Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our new class, which is second secondary for traveler. Our today is listening and reading and vocabulary, and also we get some grammar. So let's get started with our first objectives. So in this lesson, you can learn 1. Practice in listening and reading for gesture or for a gist. Ask for direction in London. 3. Differentiate between American and British English. And 4. Revise questions, question words, and indirect questions. So as you can see, we got 4 objectives to our class. Let's jump to the first one. What do you see here in this picture? Yeah, it is a sign on the road, and a man is standing. He looks like a tourist because he has a bag, so he's looking for directions. And where it seems that is somewhere outside a city or a country, in a suburbs, in a mountaineer area where you can see mountains, and maybe there's some snow over there. So this guy is a tourist looking for directions. He wants to know where to go. So these signs tell you to go left and right, and you can see that whenever you travel on the road, they tell you to go to places. They show you how many miles or how many kilometers are left, and if you are on the right track or not. So has anyone ever asked you for directions in English? Hello, Naif. Thanks for joining us. So has anyone ever asked you for directions in English? So somebody told you, if you are in Riyadh, for example, how can I go to Mamlaka Tower? How can I go to the Sheraton Hotel? Hello, Farah. Also, type 1 if you can hear me. So I was asking your friends, how did you react if you got someone ask you for directions? So if your English is good, you will tell him. Right? And the third question is, did you manage to help them? So somebody told you, if your English is good, actually, you can tell people where to go. Now look at the picture and guess what is the dialogue about. Now I'm going to play something for you, okay? So we're going to play about some 2 people lost in directions in London. So get your speakers ready so I can play to you something, and then we're going to ask you some questions about it.
A. Listening and reading. B. If 2 important historical figures like Alexander the Great and Diogenes met, what would be interesting about their meeting? Listen to the dialogue and check your answers. Some students are discussing with their history teacher what happened when Alexander the Great met Diogenes. The students are very curious about it.
Excuse me, but what is so important about this meeting?
Well, that's an interesting question. You probably know Alexander the Great, but do you know who Diogenes was?
I know. Wasn't Diogenes the eccentric philosopher who the ancient Athenians admired greatly?
Exactly. He believed that human beings shouldn't live their lives in luxury. And he also thought that people shouldn't be fussy about where they sleep or what they eat. And they should know how to tell their friends from their enemies. So, can any of you guess what is so important about this meeting?
Maybe Diogenes asks Alexander for...
So again, Naif and Farah, did you hear the dialogue? Did you hear the dialogue? Okay, you can say yes in English, but that's okay. So actually, if I ask you, Naif and Farah, did anyone ask you in English where to go? Ask you for directions? Maybe someone on the street asked you where to go to, for example, Carrefour Mall, where to go to Mamlaka Tower, where to go to the seaside. I'm sorry, Naif, I think this sound will get better. Anyway, so let's hear or I'm going to read for you a conversation between Bob and Tom, okay, about the Buckingham Palace. It's a very famous landmark in UK, all right? Bob, excuse me, could you help me? Tom, sure. You're not from around here, are you? Bob, no. I'm from the States. Tom, I thought so. I could tell by your accent. Are you enjoying London? Bob, yes, it's awesome. I went to Buckingham Palace yesterday. Tom, really? How did you find it? Bob, with a map. Tom, no, sorry, I mean, how was it? Did you enjoy it? Bob, I sure did. Tom, so what can I do to help? Bob, could you tell me where High Street is? I'm looking for an old friend's apartment. Ah, yes. Can you see that zebra crossing? Bob, the zebra doing what? Tom, I mean the pedestrian crossing. Oh, now I get it. Let's have a little quiz here. Now look at the following words in the dialogue and choose the correct meaning from A, B, or C. So you tell me the word awesome. What does it mean? A, awful, B, fantastic, or C, boring? Who can tell me? The word awesome. Does it mean awful? Does it mean fantastic? Or does it mean boring? What do you think, Naif or Farah? Farah says it's B, and that's right. Very good. Thank you, Farah. That's right. It's B. Very good, Naif. Very good. So it's B. So when you say awesome, it means it's fantastic. That's right. So that's the good answer. Very good. Now the word apartment, what does it mean? A, office. B, flat. C, family. Naif says it's an office. What does Farah say? Well, you have to allow the plugging. You have to allow the plugging. You have to log out, and then when you log in, you have to allow the flash plugging. Okay? So apartment, it means flat. It's a small house or a flat, and we say apartment. So awesome means fantastic, and apartment means flat. Now, where did Bob go yesterday? You remember in the reading, where did Bob go yesterday? You remember where did Bob go yesterday? He was in London looking for some place. So Bob went actually to Buckingham Palace. He went to Buckingham Palace. Good. Now let's move on with more about the conversation about two men in London, one from America and the other one was from England. Hello, Hiba. Thanks for joining us. Please type 1 if you can hear me. So let's go back to Tom. Well, it's only a 5-minute walk from here. Go down here and turn right at the station, then take the second turning on your right. That's High Street. So he is going to High Street. See, this is how people tell directions. Bob, thanks. Just one more thing. Can you tell me what this means? He said he lived at 80 High Street. What's that? Tom, 80? Who wrote that? Bob, I did. My friend told me on the phone, but I didn't have time to ask. Tom, I know. It's 80 High Street. Bob, I don't get it. Tom, the number 80. The number 80. Bob, oh, 80. We speak the same language, but sometimes it's hard to figure out what you're saying. So if someone from England and someone from the United States, so a man came from the United States to England, and he visited his friend, and he went to the Buckingham Palace, and he had a conversation with Tom. So the conversation really is about how the American English is different from the British English, especially with the accent. So in the British, if you want to write 80, which is 80, it sounds like A and T, like the letters A and T. So the American man who heard from his friend, he wrote A-T as letters, but actually it's 80. 80 has 80, and here is just some difference in the accent. So let's also have a quiz here. When you say, I don't get it, what does it mean? It means I don't agree, I don't go there, or I don't understand. So when somebody tells you, I don't get it, what does it mean? Does it mean A, I don't agree, B, I can't go there, C, I don't understand? What do you think? Choose one, A or B or C. When you say, I don't get it, does it mean A, I don't agree, I can't go there, or I don't understand? Actually, I don't get it, it means C, I don't understand. I don't get it, it means I don't understand, so it means C, that's right. And the verb figure out, what does it mean? A, understand, B, hear, C, repeat. So, understand, hear, repeat. Figure out. It means A, I don't understand, I try to understand. To figure out something is to understand it. And finally, where did Bob go yesterday? He went for 5 minutes to the 80th Street, okay? Or he went 5 minutes on foot to go to his High Street and the 80th Street. Now, if we ask these questions, what the dialogue is about, So the dialogue is about a person or a man from the United States somewhere in London and who is asking for directions. So the first question is about a man coming from the United States to visit his friend in London, and he was asking for directions. 2. What does Bob think of his trip to London so far? What does Bob think of his trip to London so far? So Bob, he likes it, yes, and he said it was awesome. It was awesome. And 3, which 2 things caused a misunderstanding between Tom and Bob because of the different accent between the American and the British English? So there were 2 actually funny things happen between Tom and Bob. The first thing when he said, how do you find it? How did you find it? And he thought, how did you find it? He said, I used the map. And that's funny. In English, when you say, how did you find it? It means, how was it like? And the other thing, when he said about the zebra crossing, so if you're at the traffic light, you have white lines on the floor for people to walk from one side to another. In England, they call this the zebra crossing, but in the United States, they call it the pedestrian crossing. And that was also something funny because he thought that there is a zebra crossing the street. 4. What confused Bob about his friend's address? You remember he mistook the number 80 as a number 80. So in England, they say 80. So it sounds for any American like it's 80. Well, actually, it was, it sounded for him 80. So he wrote the 2 letters A and T. Well, the address is 80, which is 80. So here are the answers. The first one, the dialogue is about a man somewhere in central London who's asking for directions. 2, when you asked him, how did you find it? He said he likes it a lot. It was awesome. And about the British English, when you say 2 things that happened between Tom and Bob, how did you find it? And the zebra crossing instead of how was it? And the pedestrian crossing as in American English. And finally, he mistook the number 80 for the letters A and T because of his friend's British pronunciation. Now, this is the British English and this is the American English. We have some differences between the American English and the British English. So the first is the accent. The British really speak in a different way from the Americans. And it's not only the accent, also there are some spelling differences, and also they use different words like trash and garbage, like flat and apartment, and so on. So there are differences actually between the American English and the British English. So in America, or Americans, or American English say apartment, candy, cookie, angry, diaper, elevator, french fries, garbage or trash, gas, movie, sidewalk, sneakers, and vacation. British English, they say, instead of apartment, they say flat. They say for candy, they say sweets. They say cookie for biscuit. And angry, they say mad. Diaper, nappy. Elevator, lift. French fries for chips, and garbage or trash for rubbish, gas for petrol, movie, film, sidewalk, pavement, sneakers, trainers, and vacation, holiday. These are some of the differences in the words between the American and the British English. So if I ask you to connect, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here we have A, B, C, D, E, F. So I want you to find a word here that equals or is as an equivalent to these words here. So if I say, can you take the garbage out? It's starting to smell bad. So garbage, this is American. What is it in English or British English? What do we say in British English? So for garbage, we say what? Lift, petrol, rubbish, bill, holiday, or shopping. So for garbage, it equals, or it's an equivalent to C. So we say here C. It's rubbish. So A1 goes for C here. And for the gas, so when we say we need to get gas before we start our journey, so gas equals or is equivalent to petrol, which is B, and 3, I can't believe there's only one mall in the whole town. So for mall, what do we say? Lift, petrol, rubbish, bill, holiday, or shopping center? We say it's a shopping center for 3. So here we got F. And what do we say for check? If you go to the bank and you get a check, or you get a check for something, or a bill, which is bill, that's right. So for 4, it's bill. And for vacation, we still have holiday. And lift. So we say, for number 5, where did you go on vacation last summer? And then we say vacation is equivalent to holiday, which is E here. And of course, and finally, for number 6, we have to take the stairs because the elevator is broken. And for the elevator, we say lift in the British English. We say lift in the British English, so this is A. So if we connect them together, yes, Farah, thank you. Garbage is C, rubbish. In American English, gas goes for petrol, B. 3, the mall in America, but in England we say it's the shopping center, F. And visit, check, goes for D, bill. Vacation, holiday, E. And of course, finally, elevator, which is A, lift. So rubbish, petrol, shopping center, bill, holiday, and lift. So let's go for some grammar. You remember these words, we call them the WHs. And these are question words. When we use how, what, when, where, who, and why. How to ask about the way, what to ask about things, how things happen or feel, when is about time, and where is about place, and who is about people, and why is for a reason. And why is for reason. So how is about the way, what to ask about general questions, when is about time, or days or dates, where is about place, who for people, and why for a reason. So let's remember those question words or WHs, they mean something. Who, what, where, when, why, how. These are questions. Sorry, and they need answers. So 1 to 4, who does Bob want to visit, if you remember? And 2, who lives at 80 High Street? 3, which animal looks like a horse and has black stripes? And 4, what does zebra crossing mean? So let's remember, who does Bob want to visit? Who does Bob want to visit? A, Bob's friend, the zebra, the pedestrian crossing, or an old friend? Excellent, Hiba, yes, he went to visit an old friend. That's right. So we better put D here. Good. Now, who lives at the 80th Street? Who lives at the 80th Street? Bob's friend. Excellent, that's right. Thank you very much, Hiba. You are Great. So you deserve a big star. And then, which animal looks like a horse and has black stripes? It's an animal, looks like a horse and has black stripes. We still have the zebra or pedestrian crossing. Yes, Farah, very good. It's the zebra. It's a white and black small horse, and we call it the zebra. So this is B here. Very good. And finally, of course, what does zebra crossing mean? It means pedestrian crossing. But in England, they say zebra crossing. In America or United States, they say pedestrian crosses. Very good. So we use what? What? To talk about things. What do you like? What do you eat? What do you think? And so on. And where? For places. Where would you like to go? Where did you go last night? Where do you put your books? Etc. We use why to ask about reason. Why you're late. Why you took the money. Why you did not study. A lot of questions. Who for people. Who is your brother? Who is your teacher? Who came here last night? And so on. And finally, how to ask about the way or the manner. How did you come to school? How? How did you win the match? How did you do the homework? How did you do the test? And so on. So these are question words, and they have different usages. Like here, when we use the question words, or the WHs, who, what, which, how much, and how many, to ask about the subject of the verb, or the verb is or isn't, in the question form. So with other question words, which are when, where, why, etc., and when we use the question words who, what, which, how much, and how many, to ask about the object of the verb. So verb is or verb isn't. How is your brother? How is, how isn't. So most of the time, these are question words. When you see them at the beginning of a sentence, it means this is a question. Where is your brother? So where is a question word, is a verb. Your brother is a complement of the sentence. So this is how we make a question in English using these question words or WH questions. So let's talk about direct and indirect questions. If you have a direct, which are the normal questions that we can ask to a friend or family members and people who we know well. For example, where is the bathroom? This is direct question. So you may ask this to your sister, brother, friend, but you don't have to ask this to the teacher, to a maybe doctor, to someone you don't know, or someone on the street. You say, could you tell me where the bathroom is, please? So in direct questions, they are just like normal questions, short normal questions we ask to our friends, to our family, and they are direct, just like this. Where are you? Where is the bathroom? How did you do it? These are direct questions. But if we have indirect questions, we may say, can you tell me, can you please, could you tell me, will you do this, may, something like this. So here, direct, we say, where's the bathroom? Indirect, which is down, we say, could you tell me where the bathroom is, please? So this is a very polite. So direct questions are normal questions, but indirect questions are polite questions, nice questions. So how can you make questions here? If I give you answer and I say make a question here. I bought a skirt and a pair of shoes when I went shopping. So what is the question? If I give you an answer which is I bought a skirt and a pair of shoes when I went shopping. The simple question is yes. What did you buy? What did you buy? I bought a skirt, a pair of shoes, and. 2. Selma is going to school with Maria. So the question is, who is going to school with Maria? Who is going to school with Maria? 3. I caught 5 fish yesterday. I caught 5 fish yesterday. And the question, if you have numbers 5, so you ask, how many fish did you catch yesterday? How many fish did you catch yesterday? So here are we have the answers here, and here are the questions. What did you buy? I bought a skirt and blah blah blah. Who's going to school with Maria? Selma is going to go to school with Maria. How many fish did you catch yesterday? I caught 5 fish yesterday. Now more exercise. How many eggs do we have to need? Now you have to rewrite the sentence with a new beginning to make indirect questions. So you just copy and paste this here. Do you know how many eggs do we need for the cake? So this is a very nice question. It's a very indirect question. How much did the jacket cost? Can you tell me how much did the jacket cost, or how much that jacket cost? 3. Where is the bus stop? Do you know where the bus stop is? So again, how many eggs do we need for the cake? Then you say, do you know how many eggs we need for the cake? How much did that jacket cost? Can you tell me how much that jacket cost? 3. Where is the bus stop? Do you know where the bus stop is? That's right, these are our answers. So here is the summary. In the last minute here, we talked about a man asking for directions, and we had some words like awesome, fantastic, apartment, a flat, I don't get it, I don't understand it. Figure out means understand, and we talk about the question words, and these are American words and these are British words, and we talk about how American English is different from the British English. Sorry, here are the references if you copy them